So let's jump into this. And I'm excited about this because for a lot of people, it literally is you're leaving money on the table. So let's talk about this. How do you stop leaving this money on the table? And how can you cash in on HSA and FSA before the end of the year? You know what these are? These are HSA cards, FSA cards. They're benefit cards for health and wellness that some employers enroll their employees in. Some people who are small business owners will purchase these separately. Most people do not know they can they need to use these by the end of the year. Many of these HSA and FSA benefits expire. So literally people are losing money by not claiming these benefit credits at the end of the year. But many people don't know how they can use these HSAs or FSA benefits. And so as a result of that, billions of dollars of unused credits expire at the end of every year. So listen to me, if you run a lab or diagnostics company, if you run a therapy practice, functional medicine clinic, wellness brand, this is by far one of the biggest year-end opportunities that you're not taking advantage of. So in this live, I'm going to break down a couple of things. One is what's actually eligible and what isn't. Who can actually take advantage of this? The categories with the highest revenue potential. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then why now, November and December, is the busiest time for HSA and FSA. This is the window right now. And how to educate your customers, your potential buyer that maybe has not purchased from you, your potential client, patient, customer that hasn't come. Maybe they've been thinking about a product that's covered with an HSA or FSA benefit. Maybe they wanted to get that blood test. Maybe there's a specific diagnostic test that they wanted, or a therapy session that they really wanted to do by the end of the year. They didn't meet that health goal. They did not meet that health goal, and they don't know that that benefit's going to expire. So it is a really, really, really great opportunity. I'm even going to claim here it is the simplest, easiest way to increase revenue for your business at the end of the year. So let's get into it. Let's jump right into this here, friends, because I think I'm excited about this because I've been doing some HSA and FSA marketing this week, really prepping a lot of stuff that's going to be going out starting for Thanksgiving on, and it is a really golden opportunity that you can take advantage of. So let's dive into this. Let's dive into it. Why is this? What can people use these HSA and FSA benefits for? Now, you want to check. Don't just take my word for it. I'm talking in generalities. There's some things that are 100% eligible. There are things that are kind of borderline. You have to see if your product and service actually is going to work for this. But most of the categories that I mentioned, it's either covered 100% or partially. So let's talk about the first one, lab and diagnostic tests. This is a huge category. So this could be food allergy tests, thyroid panels, hormone tests. If you're someone who uses hormone tests for your patients, clients, or customers, this is a really great opportunity. Anything in the hormone space regarding medical necessity tests are probably going to be covered under this. Diabetes testing. This is huge. A lot of people go all year. They've been working on controlling their A1C, their blood sugar, and now they want to see where they're at the end of the year. Great marketing opportunity for you. Nutrient and deficiency panels. This could be anything from vitamins, minerals, any kind of advanced diagnostic that's medical. Usually, all of these are covered. Of course, fertility tests, STD tests, and the big one, inflammation and autoimmune markers. All of this stuff in the testing and diagnostic stuff is typically 100% covered with that HSA and FSA benefit. This is something you definitely should be doing marketing for. If you have not already started, you need to get on this in the next week. Now, let's talk about another category here that I think a lot of people did not know are actually covered. I did not know that this was covered. I have a lot of clients in the mental health space, 100% eligible therapy, licensed counseling, telehealth therapy, substance abuse treatment, psychiatric care, therapists. This is where you have a lot of people that have come to you. They've seen you on a directory listing. They've gone to your website. They have no idea. They might even have an HSA or FSA account. They have no idea it's actually covered. No idea it's actually covered. Putting out something, we're going to talk about the different things that you can do in order to kind of help, market yourself, market this opportunity. But mental health services, wow, what an opportunity there. Now, let's talk about the third category, functional medicine and integrative health. So, any kind of MD, DO, NPPA visits, all of this stuff is typically 100% covered. You could use that with that HSA or FSA credit. Prescribed nutritional counseling. Now, I will tell you this, there are a lot of nutritionists that I have worked with. They have no idea about this. Does it qualify for you? You have to look into this. This is such low hanging fruit. I talk with a lot of people that are in the nutrition business. And at the end of the year, they have a little lull because let's face it, people want to eat, they want to drink, they want to be merry, they want to do all of that stuff. They're not really thinking about nutrition and weight. They're going to do that at the beginning of the next year. Well, this is a great opportunity to really increase revenue, get those clients and patients in the door for nutritionists, but also clinical health coaching. That would be, anything probably with an LMN next to it. That would probably work as well as far as being 100% covered. The functional medicine and integrative health, weight loss, nutrition, all this stuff, golden opportunity. Now, let's shift into I talked about lab tests and diagnostics, but what about the home health products? What about home health products? Blood pressure monitors, blood glucose monitors, fertility, ovulation test, pulse oximeters, thermometers, TENS units, all of this stuff. This is so perfect for wellness companies doing a little research. Will my product be covered? Now, some of the functional medicine and some of the lab and diagnostics testing are bundling in these products. You need to think about how can you put these into bundles to actually give an overall solution to that patient, client, and customer that is coming to you. What an opportunity, friends. I'm going to tell you this right now. What an opportunity, especially in these home health products. A lot of people like to spend these HSAs and FSA things on things that they can actually see, touch, and feel. And that is these home health products. So upgrading to a new technology, maybe it's a blood glucose monitor that does something new, a blood pressure cups, all of that stuff that you have that maybe you're even going to be discounting as you go into the newer models or go into the new year. This is a great opportunity to turn this into an increased sales momentum for you leaving the end of the year. So let's recap this again, because I think this is important about why is this a massive opportunity right now? Right now. And I'm going to say, as November rolls in, but especially around the 15th and Thanksgiving on until the end of the year, People do not want to lose the money, even if they didn't pay for it. Now, here's something very, very interesting. People might have these HSA and FSA accounts, and they haven't really been paying into them, or they've been matching it. It's been a low amount of money. And now the money has built up through the end of the year. And they weren't even thinking about the money. But now this idea that they might lose money, people don't like that. The customer does not like that. It brings a sense of urgency. They finally remember their benefits. Look, people are busy throughout the year. They thought about it maybe in June and July. They remember it every week, every once in a while. But really, people aren't sitting and thinking about what the benefits actually are. And many people do not use the benefits they have. So, this ability to be able to remind people, hey, you have this benefit that you could use is golden. Listen, I think we would all admit one of the great things about marketing for people in physical, mental health is that we are all customers, right? We're all customers. Everybody has had a health issue. Even if they've been mildly ill, you've had a health issue, or you have someone around you who has had a health issue. And let's admit this, the holidays trigger health fears. They trigger health fears. There's travel. People sometimes are not healthy to get from point A to point B. They're having guests over. Energy is a big thing. It starts getting darker earlier. People feel more fatigued. There's more mental health crises, more addiction crises. It is the season of crisis. So people are thinking about health at the end of the year. But many people are thinking, I'm just going to kick this down the road until the new year comes and then I will commit. But when you match the holiday triggers with the fear of losing money and then remembering the benefit they have, now you are really dealing with something that can be marketed and sold a lot more effectively. I think one of the other things that people are thinking about and why this is a good opportunity is people want clarity before the new year. A lot of people want to know what they did in the current year and they want to feel like they've achieved something. Now, think back to your own life. Maybe it's something in your practice or your business or your personal life that you really wanted to achieve this year. But now you're in November, you get into December, you're starting to think, well, am I going to do that? Am I going to really achieve that? And making that appointment or having the order psychologically does a lot for people. It feels that they have committed, even though they haven't necessarily done the work, they haven't showed up, they haven't received the product yet. They actually feel psychologically that they have some sort of clarity in moving towards the momentum. Now, we're not even gonna mention the obvious here. Family triggers, stress. For anything in behavioral health therapy, this is very, very big season, obviously. Again, I've been doing a lot of content about why you don't wanna wait, you wanna start now. You don't wanna start in the new year marketing, you wanna start now. The other thing too is that a lot of other things regarding nutrition and nutritionists, overeating, fatigue. This means people need more labs. People want to know where they're at regarding food and weight towards the end of the year, whether they're going to splurge a little bit, feel guilty about it, whatever that emotional thing might be. People want that clarity. The other thing is I think people are prepping for these New Year's resolutions, what I call a health momentum, right? So all of this aligns in your favor if you can market HSA and FSA benefits correctly. So I want to dive into how people are leaving this on the table. And I have a client right now that's in the nutrition space and they do a lot of volume. And I've been saying for months, it's like, let's really get on this. Let's really get clear about positioning these HSA and FSA benefits for people so that we can greater serve our customer, client, and patient. And that's really what this is all about. And if you've been following me for any period of time or you know anything about me, I'm very much into service marketing. How do we serve people in a way that they're better off than when we got them? That they are better off because they have been in your practice and been in your life. And I think most of the people that I deal with, definitely all of my customers that I deal with, they think that way. They would not be in the health and wellness business if they did not think that way. They want to leave people in a good state. So how do you do that? Through sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is a way that you really can empower people. And like I do when I coach people that are in this that really have huge hangups every time I say the word sales or marketing. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to look like I'm marketing." And I always remind people, look, sales and marketing brings clarity. It brings options and it brings a path for people that want to move forward. And people need to move forward. So you're just providing a clear path so that people can do that. So how are you leaving money on the table from a marketing standpoint with this? The first thing is never mentioning HSA or FSA in marketing at all. Never mentioning it at all. It's interesting, functional medicine, you'll have people come in and out. It'll be almost like a bus stop. You might have people, either walking into your office or going on to a Zoom call, and you've got that real estate on the Zoom call that you could put something in the background that says, "Hey, claim your FSA or HSA benefit." It could be literally in the reception area right as you walk in. "Do you have HSA and FSA benefits? Ask us how you can claim it." Now, of course, I love video and I put a QR code, and that's what I'm doing with a lot of my clients is we're creating a video about how they can easily use those benefits. But if you never mention it at all, then people will not know that they could take advantage of it only if they actually know their benefits. So this is just one of the easiest things to do is just start talking about it. Most companies only mention this in fine print. They never make it easy. And our job is to make it easy for the customer, the patient, and the client to empower themselves. The other issue that I see are people not actually communicating what tests and services and products actually qualify for these benefits. It's like, yeah, we take them, but there's really no like a lot of people at the end of the year do not have as much disposable income because they're committing it to gifts, parties, travel, all these other different things, or they simply haven't made the amount of money. They want to use a HSA, but they don't really know how. And maybe the only time that they could actually research this, we don't think about this. The only time that they could actually research is after work, after you're closed, after they can reach somebody on the phone or via text message. So are you clearly stating where you can use these HSA and FSA benefit? It really comes down to educating people. And it's funny because a lot of wellness providers have no problem. If we were talking about blood sugar, if we are talking about what type of lab test to get, if we are talking about what type of therapy might work best for you, they have no problem talking with people regarding that. But when it comes to educating customers about how they can actually use their benefits, they feel very, very uncomfortable. And you need to be an expert at that, or you need to figure out the easy way to be able to communicate that so that people can they can actually take that path. You also need to train your staff to communicate how they can use the benefits better. Now, I don't wanna complicate this because I think a lot of times there is a block there. It's like, well, do I tell the office manager? Maybe the smaller firms, it's like, I don't really have time to be able to do it. It's just mentioning to them, "Look, this is what's covered, this is what's not, this is how we process it, this is what an FSA or FSA or HSA benefit is. This is very, very important. Educate the staff and the people around you. Now, I'm going to tell you one of the biggest mistakes that people leave money on the table is they are not creating urgency around this. There is no what I call urgency messaging. A lot of people do not know that these benefits run out. There is no urgency messaging. How do you then create urgency messaging? Think about it. Do you put together a landing page? We mentioned a QR code. We mentioned video. Maybe it's just a simple post, social media post with you. How do you educate people? The urgency is already built in to this marketing opportunity. You don't have to fabricate urgency. There is a time limit to these benefits. That is the urgency. Um, the whole use it or lose it positioning, use it or lose it, right? I don't like use it or lose it. I like being a little bit more subtle about it. And I like being able to come out to say, this is how you can use it, as opposed to, and by the way, they do expire, as opposed to, you're going to lose it. You don't have to create fear. I say create an opportunity. Have that countdown clock of when they could use it be an opportunity for them to change, not a fear to change. Okay, I don't think a December countdown is actually needed. Matter of fact, one of the things that I am recommending is on the landing page. Talk about empowerment. Talk about, if you're going to use a countdown, this is going to be a countdown to how you can empower yourself in the current calendar year, as opposed to what they're going to lose and you're using fear. I don't think you have to use fear. You do not have to use fear. Okay, so let's talk about the exact marketing game plan here for you, which I think is very, very important. I think is very, very important. What can you do that's going to be easy to execute, that will definitely bring you, has a very high likelihood of bringing you revenue at the end of the year? And listen, everybody's business is different. This might work really great for some firms. It might not work for other practices, but it cannot hurt. And what I see overwhelmingly is when one of these strategies or a multiple of these strategies are tried, this works very, very well. And I believe it's going to work for you. So let's dive into that. How do you actually use these HSA and FSA marketing game plan to make more money for your practice? Okay, first thing that you have to do is just create a simple HSA and FSA landing page. Just very simple. This does not have to be developed by web programmers. Matter of fact, in my integrated solution, where we are actually providing the tech too, I'm just creating a simple FSA page for people to fill in the blanks. We're just doing it as something quick. And now, what is going to be on this landing page? Very, very important. One, you're going to put the eligible products and services that are on there. You're gonna then put how to use the HSA and FSA card. How do you use it? How do you use the card? Then I would put some very simple FAQs. Very simple, frequently asked questions. And then a year in deadline reminder on it. Again, I don't think you have to use fear-based marketing. Fear-based marketing is not needed. The urgency is already built in. Just put it like, by the way, these do expire by the end of the calendar year. A simple landing page that you're sending them all to. You can link up a QR code to that. You can put an auto text message, a lot of stuff that we have done in our integrated solution that's very easy for you to apply. Now, here is a second opportunity, and I think this is so, so easy, and you can utilize that simple HSA and FSA landing page that you've created. Send a 4 email year in sequence. a 4 email year end sequence. Now, most of the people that I'm working with, I'm telling them tag if you can when you do your patient or client or customer onboarding. Ask them about these FSA or HSA benefits if they have them. So you already have a database of people who can actually, are going to utilize these. Okay. So that would ultimately be the ultimate thing to do, would be to already know who those people are. But if you don't know who they are, this 4 email sequence is going to work so easily for you. First email that you're going to send. Do you know you can use HSA and FSA benefits for this? For me, for my functional medicine, for my lab testing, for my diagnostics test. Do you know, just very simply, do you know you can use these HSA and FSA benefits? Does not have to be fear made. That is your first email, just educating people. Second email that you might want to create, which I think is good. Second email. Hey, here's what qualifies. Did you know that this qualifies, or this product qualifies, or this service qualifies? Do you know that this qualifies? These are all things you can use on FSA and HSA benefits. Now, the third email I would escalate. This third email is more of the don't leave money on the table. Or do you know that these benefits might expire? You can bring up the heat a little bit. And then one more fourth end right at the end, year end deadline reminder. And I would put a red dot emoji on it, year end deadline reminder for your benefits. People are going to open that. That is really great. I actually have been going down all of the great, what are going to be the top most clickable email and text messages that you can send during that period of time. You can definitely send SMS as well. I would not send 4 SMSs. I'd probably only send 1, send 3 or 4 emails. That is a no brainer right there. That is going to be most of the revenue that you're going to make. Now, let's talk about social media. I would probably create towards the last 3 months of the year 10 to 12 short social media posts. One might be a reel, one might even be from a receptionist. It does not have to be fancy. Fancy is not going to be as effective as real, honest, trying to educate, trying to help. You same thing. In those social media posts, you're talking about what is HSA and FSA eligible. You're talking about how to use your benefits before you lose them, what is eligible, what is not eligible. And I love the whole idea is, do you know these services are eligible? Many people did not know. Maybe they knew that maybe the diabetes blood test was eligible, but they had no idea some sort of diabetic monitor was also available. So it is really, again, with social media about that. And then I also love this, how to use the card. Now, you might know how to use your HSA and FSA card, but it does not mean the customer does. We have to provide that education. So I want to talk about on site, another category here, on site messaging. Now, when I say on site, that could literally be at your office with just a little pop up thing that you printed on your printer with a QR code. Hey, did you know that if you have HSA, find out all about it, where it goes to a little video or that landing page. But it also could be a homepage promo bar. I love the homepage promo bar. What is a homepage promo bar? That's just that little hello bar that scrolls on the very, very top like a ticker, almost like a stock ticker. Just very simple. You could put that call to action. Do you know about your FSA and HSA benefits, how to use it, how to use your card, whatever your call to action is, with a click to that landing page. Now, product badges, if you have any kind of client portal, a little badge that says that they're eligible, I think is very, very good. an FAQ section, definitely, that is on your site as well. You maybe add that to your main FAQ section, as well as having it in your breakout landing page FAQ section. I think that that is a really no-brainer. Now, on-site is good. I also am a very big fan of postcards. This is an old school marketing, a postcard that goes out. There is so much revenue to be made here, friends, that a postcard could literally book you out, could sell out your product. Having a postcard that you put in, maybe you give it to them at the end when you give them their receipt. Maybe you email them receipts, you put it into that invoice that you're sending. There's a lot of different ways that I call on-site messaging that you can do. I'm going to see if I can put a list of these together and provide them for everyone. Now, I think this is all about the year-end urgency, obviously psychologically. Now, you can use countdowns. I'm not big into fear marketing. I'm much more into possibility marketing. I think that's where the world is going. But if you are into fear marketing, countdowns work really well. They also work for possibility marketing. But the whole big point that I'm going to say here is that you do not, and what this means for your business, you do not have to create a new offer. You do not have to create some snazzy bundle. You don't have to create a new product. You don't have to create new pricing. This I'm saying is one of the biggest, lowest hanging fruits for health and wellness companies at the end of the year. You don't have to create all that stuff. You're just highlighting and communicating, friends, what already exists. This is so important. You're highlighting what already exists. You are becoming more of the brand that educates and helps, not the brand that screams at customers, buy, 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 buy. That, my friend, builds trust. And it also converts. Trust converts. And this is a perfect time and opportunity to use that trust and goodwill that you've built to make that conversion. Guys, this has been great. If you need help, if you're out there going, oh my gosh, I really think this is a big opportunity, but I need help building an HSA and FSA marketing campaign, then you can go ahead and reach out to me. You can find out more. Just make it a quick appointment and go to talentbranded.com to find out more. I am going to say this. Do not let this opportunity pass. If you do not have the time or bandwidth to do this full out like we have discussed here, you definitely at least need to find time to print a flyer, to send one or two emails. Don't let this opportunity lapse. Don't say next year I'll do it. There's still time this year to do it. Friends, I know you will. Thank you so much for listening to me, and go out and make those HSA and FSA campaigns work for you.
If this video resonated and you're ready to grow your business, visit talentbranded.com to see how Damon can help you help more people.